I tell you, right now, this is how dangerous they know this guy is. They have every instrument of state power to crush Rudy Giuliani, to bankrupt him, to put him in jail, to smear him. We're not going to let it happen.
Yeah.
No! Not only are you too good a man, you're too... Rudy, at 80 years old, how many people at 80 years old, your moment's now finally come. This is what America needs you the most.
Rudy Giuliani filed for bankruptcy last year when he was ordered to pay a $148 million fine for defaming election workers in Georgia. Now, his bankruptcy trial is getting a little interesting.
The hearing today was incredibly testy. The judge at one point even threatened to mute Giuliani's microphone, saying, and I'm quoting the judge now, "I'm going to ask you to listen to me, and if you don't, I'm going to have to cut you off."
When the bankruptcy went public, a lot of details came out about Rudy's business and money. For instance, we learned that the man he destroyed his entire career and reputation for, Donald Trump, owed him $2 million in legal fees. How embarrassing. We also learned that he didn't have enough cash on hand to pay his taxes, and even his Amazon purchases were up for public discussion. We now know that he uses Jergens Natural Glow Instant Sun Sunless Tanning Moisturizer and Bronzer. We also know that he buys very, very cheap ties by the six-pack. Anyway, in his ongoing bankruptcy proceedings, Giuliani is basically seeking to protect his assets from his creditors. During the hearing, lawyers representing the creditors to whom Giuliani owes $148 million said that this was all just a stalling tactic, even suggesting that jail time might be an appropriate response for his so-called bankruptcy crimes. These bankruptcy crimes she's referring to are Giuliani's repeated attempts to hide or obscure information regarding his finances and assets. Attorney Rachel Strickland said that if Giuliani's bankruptcy case is dismissed, quote, creditors will be able to hold America's mayor accountable for the harms he's caused. She also said, unless your honor wants to entertain putting America's mayor in prison, I suggest you throw the case out. What's interesting is that Giuliani's own legal team now supports getting the case dismissed because it might make it easier to appeal the defamation case. The judge has indicated that he's leaning towards dismissal, but that's not exactly good news for Giuliani. If and when the judge dismisses the case, the creditors, specifically the defamed election workers, would be able to pursue the money they're owed via foreclosures, liens, repossessions, and lawsuits, all of which had been on hold since he filed for bankruptcy last year. Giuliani hasn't been doing himself any favors, though. For months, he's ignored court filing deadlines, and he's been less than transparent regarding the financial assets he's now seeking to protect. The information he's provided has been incomplete, to the point that lawyers for the creditors asked the court to appoint a trustee to manage Giuliani's finances while investigators look for assets that he has tried to keep hidden. Anyway, for a guy who's broke, he sure spends quite a bit. According to the documents he did file, he estimated his assets to be worth anywhere from $1 to $10 million. He said he owes $153 million to creditors, including the money he owes to the Georgia election workers, state and federal tax liabilities, lawyers' fees, and more. He allegedly has less than $100,000 cash on hand, and his company only has about $237K. Even his retirement money is down from $2.5 million in 2022 to just $1 million as of May 2024. But for a guy with only $100,000 on hand, he spent nearly $33,000 in May alone. That's $28,000 on his homes in Florida and New York, $850 on food, $390 on cleaning services, $230 on medicine, $200 on laundry, and $190 on his vehicles, according to the Associated Press. And to top it all off, he's lost his primary source of income. He's been disbarred as a lawyer, but even then, Trump wasn't paying him for his legal counsel anyway. I guess he's a podcaster now, because who isn't? And podcasting is a lot of work, sort of. It's nothing compared to being a lawyer, but while I hope Rudy's enjoying this change of pace, it sure seems like he could use the cash. He's a hard man to feel sorry for, though. For a guy who once had so much going for him, a strong national reputation, and definitely not $153 million of debt, he really tanked it all for a guy who still owes him $2 million for legal services rendered. I would hope that Rudy Giuliani would serve as a warning to people who don't know how to end on a high note, but in today's overly saturated world of media and content of all kinds, people never just go away anymore like they used to. There's always more fame to be had. There's always more victims to grift. There's always more attention, more followers, more clout. It's just particularly unsettling when we see this kind of behavior coming from boomers who were once somewhat respectable. All right, that's it for me. If you got anything out of this, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks.